sanctuary is so beautiful. I'm home. Come on in. What are you afraid of? You were here for the wedding and didn't turn into a Baptist.
No, but we got a lot of folks praying for us to change.
Ain't that the truth?
Now, if their prayers are answered, I wonder what kind of Baptist we'd turn into. Primitive? Free will?
No.
Independent?
Maybe.
Southern?
No.
Reformed?
Primitive. I've seen you boys eat.
Now, Dad, since I married your son, he's made remarkable progress. He's reformed.
A nice wedding like that'll do it to you. I still can't get over how emotional everybody was.
Well, that's because Amy was marrying a Methodist. Hey, look, Amy, you're still on their prayer list. They just won't let it go, will they?
Don't you think they might be supporting our music ministry?
Of course they're praying for our ministry. God has blessed our mixed marriage. Why? Don't you think so, Mrs. Westmont?
I do.
I do too.
Stop. Yeah. Renew your vows someplace else. This is a church.
I got my first kiss up there in the balcony.
Baptist. Well, I sure like the acoustics in here.
This has always been a sanctuary for singing.
Let's give one a try.
All right.
Yeah.
Move on.
Casserole.
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 Casserole!
All Baptists really love casseroles.
Bum 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 bum.
By and by, when the morning comes, when the saints of God are gathered home, we will tell the story how we've overcome. We will understand it better by and by. We are tossed and driven on this restless sea of time. Somber skies and howling tempest oft succeed a bright sunshine. In that land of perfect day, when the mist has rolled away, we will understand it better by and by. By and by, when the morning comes, when the saints of God are gathered home, we will tell the story how we've overcome. We will understand it better by and by. Temptations, hidden snares often take us unaware, and our hearts are made to bleed for a thoughtless word or deed. And we wonder why the test when we try to do our best, but we'll understand it better by and by. By and by, when the morning comes, when the saints of God are gathered home, we will tell the story how we've overcome. We will understand it better by and by. We will understand it better by and by.
All right, man.
Excuse me, folks. It ain't time for the evening service. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask y'all to... Oh, my. Well, would you looky here. Amy, you come here to me. Oh, I didn't know it was you. I thought it was... Never mind. How are you, dear?
Oh, I'm fine, Marie.
Oh, let me look at you. Well, married life hadn't hurt you a bit. Oh, well, it's done wonders for your husband.
Yeah, you should see him eat now. Knife, fork, the works.
How you doing, Marie?
Oh, well, I can't complain, but I tell you what, my memory sure ain't what it used to be. I can't seem to remember which one of your sons here's Floyd and which one's Lloyd.
I am.
Well, he is.
You are. She was talking about you.
Oh, well, I'm just glad it was you and not them.
Them who? Who did you think we were?
A pastor search committee. They didn't make it in time for the morning service, but they'll be back.
I thought they'd want to remain anonymous. How did you find out?
They drove right up into the parking lot this morning when Bob was out patrolling it. He said that car, it had out-of-state tags on it. There was 2 men sitting up in the front, 2 women sitting in the back. Well, they asked a lot of questions about the church. Said they'd heard a lot of good things about it. Asked what time the evening service was, and they drove off. What else could it be?
You were going to run them out of the sanctuary just now?
Well, it's not time for the evening service. And besides, I don't want any pastor search committee up in here anyway.
But isn't that how Baptist ministers change churches?
Well, we don't want him to leave.
Well, that should be his decision. I mean, if he feels led.
Well, if he feels led, then it's God's decision. But God's not finished with him yet, so he ain't feeling led.
That's between Pastor Meade and God. It doesn't seem right to be interfering.
It's between Pastor Meade, God, and this church where he was called to serve. So that gives me and this church the right to interfere.
Time out. Before you two get lost in discussion, can we back up? Who is Bob, and why is he out patrolling the parking lot?
Well, Bob Young, he's one of our deacons. We told him that church parking lots were prime targets for car thieves on Sunday mornings.
How often does he patrol?
Yeah.
Well, once during the choir special and a second time during the benediction. It keeps him out of the tenor section.
So it's okay to make a joyful noise.
Yeah, just not in the choir.
Well, that's right, boys. Everybody's got a place in God's house. Bob's is just outside.
There you go.
Bless his heart.
Oh, now, let me back up and ask what brings you home and how long can you stay?
Oh, we're just staying for the night at Mom's. On our way to the state fair, you're looking at the Tuesday night entertainment.
We go on right after the goats.
Hey, don't laugh. They're a tough act to follow.
Yeah, especially if you're not, looking down.
Well, I'm still proud of you. You know what? You're a good example out there in a world of secular music.
Well, it made sense what Betty said. We can reach more people this way.
Did I hear you made a solo album?
Oh, not really. We made an album of old hymns, and the boys decided to feature me a lot.
Don't listen to her, Marie. It's a solo album. We know a good thing when we hear it.
Yeah, we're her backup singers. Like Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Woo! Woo!
That's going to keep you on my prayer list permanently.
We brought copies.
I took your suggestion and wrote a dedication to Betty on the back.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that. People can go a whole lifetime never knowing the good they've done, and that's mainly because nobody ever tells them. I'll make sure she gets a copy of it. Oh, look at here. You recorded Never Grow Old.
Oh, it's your favorite, isn't it?
It is. This is a song I want sung at my funeral.
I thought you wanted Don't Get Around Much Anymore sung at your funeral.
Good one.
Would you sing a little bit of it for me now? Oh, wonderful.
Missed the Saturday dance.
Bum, 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 bum.
Heard they
Not
crowded.
that one. The other one.
I like that one.
I have heard of
a land on a faraway strand. 'Tis a beautiful home of the soul, built by Jesus on high, where we'll never shall die. 'Tis a land where we'll never grow old, never grow old, never grow old. In a land where we'll never grow old, never grow old, never grow old. In a land where we'll never grow old. When our work here is done, and our life crown is won, and our troubles and life trials are o'er, all our sorrows will end, and our voices will blend with the loved ones who've gone on before. Never grow old, never grow old, in a land where never grow old, never grow old, in a land where we'll never grow old.
Just beautiful. This is song in your concert.
Well, some nights it is. We have to work up to the gospel music because our audiences don't want to feel like they're in church.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, but before they know it, we sneak them in.
Oh, yeah, we start out with top 40 country, a few oldies, and then we segue right into the gospel section. But you should see the segue.
Yeah, Lloyd and I have worked up this comic preacher and minister of education routine.
Oh, my, it figures.
Oh, but it's hysterical.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, it gets them laughing and thinking about religion. So when we get into the gospel side of the program, they're open to it.
Well, boys.
Sister Marie,
Oh, yes.
God bless your ministry here at Rocky Bluff.
you.
As a minister of maintenance, I encourage you to keep sweeping for the Savior
Dustin for the divine.
and mopping for the Messiah.
Hallelujah! And may those toilets be as white as snow.
Oh,
Why does-
yes, yes. Oh, you boys, you missed your calling. I
Thank
tell
you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Hey, Marie, sing one with us.
Oh, we've got a great arrangement of Just a Closer Walk. Would you mind taking the lead?
Well, twist my arm. You know, they don't let me sing around here too much. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh, go dance.
Come on, Marie, we can't walk this close forever.
Just a closer walk with thee. Rest in Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk. Let me walk close to thee. Just a closer walk with thee. Rest in Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. When my feeble life is o'er, time for me shall
church committee is coming. Are the church and pastor okay with each other?
Well, of course we are. That's what I've been saying all along. Pastor Meade is wonderful. He's preaching the word. He loves to visit. And the church is growing again. You know what? Just 2 years ago, the average age of our youth department was 42. Wow. And he's bringing it back down. And we also had record attendance at Vacation Bible School this year.
I bet that was a lot of cookies and Kool-Aid.
You telling me, but they were pretty good this year.
The kids or the cookies?
Mm-hmm. You know what I think's happening?
Nope.
Pastor Meade is happy here, and God's not finished with him yet. So the only explanation is that committee is fishing.
You mean like baseball teams when they send their scouts to spy on the opposition?
No. It's like religious headhunters.
That's right, boys. This is how other churches steal good preachers.
Well, who else in the church knows they're coming?
Well, Bob, obviously, because he told me and Betty, and he probably told Mrs. Davis.
And that means everybody else in the church knows by now.
Mm-hmm.
Why? How come?
Well, Miss Davis is the church busybody, but she calls it
Okay.
a ministry.
Yeah.
She'll say, tell me what's going on in your life so I can pray more intelligently.
Right, yeah.
And then she'll talk to God about it. And everybody God knows about it. We don't even need a church newsletter around here.
Well, now that the whole church knows about it, perhaps this afternoon would be a good time for you and Betty to go see Pastor Meade and see if he really is thinking about leaving or if that church is just fishing.
Well, Betty and Lula are coming by later on to work on the music for tonight's service. I guess we could talk to him then. I just wish this wasn't happening.
Oh, Marie, God's got good things in store for this church. You've got to believe that. Let's talk about something else until Betty gets here.
Hey, what is with the bear spot out in the front yard?
You saw that, did you?
We started to park there.
Well, in landscaping terms, that used to be called a natural area. Our WMU ladies, why, they worked over a month to get that looking so natural. And wouldn't you know it, that's the exact spot where our beloved Bob Young decided he wanted to build a living outdoor nativity scene this last Christmas.
Is that a patrolman, Bob?
One and the same. He said it looked more authentic among the azaleas. So he builds this manger right there in the middle of them with this deer stand on top for the angel. Well, he brought in a mule and a couple of goats and 3 chickens. I guess he'd read that verse about the cock crowing 3 times.
You know,
Well, anyway, to finish it off, the crowning touch of his creation, he places this plywood cutout of this stork that said, "It's a Bowie," right there next to the manger. Well, when he was finished, he called me and Pastor Meade out to look at it, and I looked at him standing over there next to what looked like this open-faced outhouse with this seat up on top of it and all them animals, and I thought, oh, Lord, there's one old goat too many. Well, let me tell you what happened that night. One of them old goats, it ate the head off the baby Jesus. Well, that set the light bulb halo right down into the hay, setting the manger on fire. Them kids, they went screaming, running all over the place. It scared the mule so bad that it kicked the building the rest of the way over, burning it to the ground, along with that natural area you saw when you drove up.
Oh my gosh, was anybody hurt?
Just Bob when I got a hold of him.
shh. Did anybody else hear that?
I thought I saw something moving up in the balcony.
That would be Miss Lula.
Oh, hello, Betty. How have you been?
Hey, Betty, how you doing?
Hey, Miss Betty.
Hey, Betty, you're looking good.
So, what brings you all back to church? Did your bus break down?
No, they're on their way to a concert, Betty, and they stopped over for the night. Oh, and here's a copy of Amy's CD. Look right here. Look.
Oh, that's nice. Well, it was good to see all of you. I'm sorry we don't have longer to visit, but Lula and I have to rehearse.
Miss Betty, why is Miss Lula in the balcony?
She's the organist. We have to go over the music for tonight's service.
Yeah. But I was...
Well, let me ask this one.
Please.
So why is the organ in the balcony?
Well, we had a bit of a flood last year.
Yeah, the baptistry, well, it overflowed, and the most expensive things we lost was the organ and the piano, so the deacons thought they'd be safer up there in the balcony.
And besides, an organ in the balcony makes us seem high class. You know, like the Lutherans.
The baptistry overflowed?
The baptistry committee meant to fill it up one Saturday. They thought they could eat lunch and be back in time to turn the water off. No.
Miss Lula, how do you like playing in the balcony?
You know what? She doesn't hear so well anymore, but she's great at reading lips. Hang on a second.
Oh, okay.
Lula. Lula. Layla! Oh, there she is. Try it again.
Thank you, Betty. How do you like playing in the balcony? What does that mean?
She has laryngitis this week, so she's been communicating using musical cues. I think maybe she's trying to say she feels like she's sitting too far away.
Oh, like in the nosebleed section.
I wonder if she's a Yankee fan.
Oh.
Oh, guess not. Boy, she's good at reading lips, though, isn't
Oh,
she?
man. Howdy.
Like I said, it was great seeing all of you, but Lula and I have to rehearse because the service needs to be extra special tonight. So if you all will excuse us.
Betty, we know about the pastor search committee. Wade thought it might be a good idea for you and Marie to speak to Pastor Meade before they get here.
Oh, he did? Well, thank you, Wade, but I really think we can handle it ourselves.
Betty, we'd like to see him stay too.
I'm sorry. I'm just not myself today.
Oh, Betty, none of us are feeling like ourselves today.
It just won't be the same if he leaves. After all the times that I felt like leaving, it was Pastor Meade who helped me to not quit. And I wish I could do that for him now, but he wants to go. I always thought I would be the first one to leave. No, not without a fight. If the service is extra special tonight, then maybe he will realize this is where he should be.
I think he does. That committee is just fishing. They know we got a good preacher.
Yeah, why don't you talk to the committee and tell them to leave?
Well, then they'll probably just invite him on down to their church later.
But since he's not interested, he won't go.
Well, he shouldn't even be tempted. And besides, now that the whole church knows about it, I'm sure they feel just as horrible as we do. And that's another reason to make tonight's service extra special. So, if y'all will excuse us.
Oh, Betty, can we stay? I'd love to hear you sing.
Oh, I'd love to hear that duet you two used to do of I'll Fly Away.
I'm sorry, Marie, but I just don't think I have time to get the music together for Lula. And besides, Amy knows how important rehearsal is for a church service. Don't you, Amy?
Sure, Betty, maybe some other time.
Okay. All right, Lula, we're going to start with Close to Thee, 479.
Betty, do you mind if we just stay and listen?
Sure. Lula. Savior, let me all should take this music a little more seriously.
Careful and good choreography, too.
What's wrong with Miss Lula?
I think she's trying to tell us something.
Oh, it's charades.
Oh, man,
it's
this is
charades.
fun.
I am pretty good at this.
You are the
Okay.
man.
Charades.
All right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
2 words.
What?
I think she means second word with that finger.
Oh,
Stretch.
taffy?
Wide.
Deep and wide.
It's
There's
a fountain flowing deep and wide.
No, it's a fish story.
Long?
Long, that's it.
Oh, very good.
Oh, okay. Okay. First word.
She's calling hogs.
Oh, she's singing.
Long sing.
The song is too long. I knew it.
No, she wants to reverse it. The song's not too long. She wants to sing along.
She wants y'all all to sing with Betty tonight. Betty, you're preparing a song service for tonight. Amy grew up here, got married here. Don't you think the church, which has been supporting their ministry, would love to hear her and her family sing?
Remember, this is a church and not a honky-tonk. Is your band going to be coming?
No, they're going to meet us tomorrow. Betty, you don't understand why.
I don't know. Maybe we should try and cancel the service. I mean, that would at least keep them away for a while. Do you think that would work, Lula? Marie, how can we do that?
Betty, if you don't want us to sing, just say so. You don't have to cancel the service on our account.
While I will admit I am not fond of the grand old Opry in the pulpit, I don't want to cancel the service because of you. It's because of that pastor search committee.
Look, Betty, it's not a bad idea in theory. I mean, it certainly would frustrate those preacher stealers. But canceling a service? Well, that is a big deal. I can only think of 2 reasons to do it. Bad weather, the pastor dies, or the Lord returns.
Hey, y'all. Miss Lula's trying to say something again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 2 words.
Yeah.
Second word.
Wish she wouldn't do it that way. Two.
Wall.
Wailing wall.
Knock down the wall.
No, that's 4 words.
Touching the wall?
Texture.
Sheetrock.
Plaster.
Oh, plaster. That's it.
Okay. First word. Scratching.
Dusty?
Plaster dust.
Shivering.
It's cold.
Rain.
No, snow.
It's not snow.
It is snow.
Oh, it's snowflakes.
Flakes. The plaster's flaking.
Lula, I'll have somebody look into that first next week, dear.
No, she wants to reverse it again. She means flaking plaster.
What?
Thank you. That clears things up for me.
Oh my, that's weird.
Oh, I get it. She's playing the first Noel, and the phrase is flaking plaster.
And?
Don't you see?
No.
Noel. The phrase is flaking plaster. Noel. No-L. Take flaking plaster and get the L out.
I'm telling Mom.
Listen up in the
I'm
church
telling.
house.
Don't tell Mom. Remove the letter L from flaking plaster, and you get faking pastor.
I sure hope she gets her voice
Hey, good
back
job, brother.
soon. That just wore me out.
Lula, you are a genius, a fake pastor. There's no need to cancel the service for tonight. They don't know what he looks like. They're from out of state.
And if we get an imposter that's terrible, well, they'll leave and never come back.
This just doesn't seem right. You could ruin Pastor Meade's reputation with a stunt like that.
It's just for one service. And besides, they're not from around here. They'll probably just move on to the next church on their list. And as long as our church knows about it, then...
Yeah, well, how are we going to let the church know about this in time? If the whole congregation isn't in on it,
Mrs. Davis can help us with that. As soon as she calls her prayer chain warriors, well, the news will get around faster than a bucket of chicken at a Baptist homecoming.
That's quick.
Now, where can we find someone who can imitate the pastor?
Betty?
Now I'm trying to think.
No.
Betty?
Oh, wait, I know. Oh, no, he's out of town.
Betty, Floyd and I we can.
Betty!
What?
Lloyd can do it.
Do what? Preach?
Yep, for what you're looking for. That's part of their act. Listen here, look here. Let me tell you about their act they do. Lloyd does this comic preacher routine, and Floyd here is his minister to education.
But I need them to be really bad ministers, not comedians.
Oh, they're bad, trust me.
We're horrible.
The worst.
What? Look, they have to believe that this is real, and not that you're up here doing some stand-up routine. I mean, how do I know that you can be awful enough as a Baptist minister?
We're Methodist.
They got a point there.
You know, I just still don't think it's right to have a country and western band in the pulpit.
Oh, Betty, they aren't going to be up there as a country and western band.
I'm going to be Pastor Meade.
Yeah, we're not going to be singing songs about cussing and drinking and dancing. I know how y'all Baptists feel about dancing.
Oh, Lloyd, you're not helping a bit. Look here, Betty. Amy and the boys, why, they love this church as much as we do. And they're here with the resources to help. So look here, you just need to put whatever that is you got going on behind you, and let's do this thing. And so what if they sing a secular song?
Well, we are trying to run people off.
That's the spirit.
Well, we do have a couple of problems. I mean, well, one, how do we get the real Pastor Meade out of the church tonight?
Drugs.
No.
Kidnapping. No. Alien abduction.
That'll work.
They did that.
Dad, this is serious. Pastor Meade doesn't like to be out of the pulpit. It's got to be a really good reason.
Yeah, the last time the pastor was out was when he was on vacation.
Lula, do you have any ideas? Me neither. Maybe this is just a lost cause.
Wait, that could work. Get him lost somewhere.
But how could that even?
No, wait. That is a possibility. Visitation is very important to Pastor Meade. And if he thought he could be of service somewhere, he would go. In fact, he'd go almost anywhere. And I have no doubt that Mrs. Davis knows someone who needs visiting this very afternoon that lives a long way away from here.
And if we have Bob Young do the driving, well, the getting lost part will just happen naturally.
go.
Bless his heart.
That should keep him away for a while. And while I'm still not thrilled about the idea of country pie in the pulpit, I do think that it's going to work.
Good. You know what? I'll call Miss Davis and Bob and let them know what we're up to.
Great, Marie, thanks. Now, Lloyd, Pastor Meade, can you and your family get together a few religious songs for the song service tonight?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm counting on you and Floyd here.
Okay, but you guys got to do your part as well.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, that was the second thing I was going to mention. You got to be just as bad as we are.
Yeah, we got to show how wacko the staff is because of this pastor. That means every staff member has to reflect his leadership.
If there's even a glimmer of hope for Rocky Bluff, we're sunk. They might just come back thinking tonight was just an off night.
Okay, I see what you mean. Well, whatever it takes to keep the pastor here.
If the man wants to leave, he will. You might delay it with this little ruse, but if it's God's will,
How do you know that it is not God's will that he stay? And we could all be his instruments, helping him to realize this is where he belongs.
That's good.
I can't imagine using deception to accomplish God's will.
Wake up and smell the Old Testament. What about Jacob pretending to be Esau.
Come on.
And then Joseph down there in Egypt.
Tell it, sister.
And besides, God helps those who help themselves.
Bam!
Yeah.
That's Benjamin Franklin, not the Bible.
Really?
Listen, I want what's best for this church too, but I also want what's best for Pastor Meade. Can't we do some other thing about it?
Oh, Dad, I don't know if this is the right thing to do either, but I do know we came here at an important time, and I just feel we should be involved somehow. Why don't we just consider this an opportunity to sing?
We shouldn't be interfering like this.
Didn't you say if it's God's will for him to leave, then nothing will keep him from going?
Not exactly. But I guess that's the idea.
Then it won't matter what we do, will it?
Well, while I'm not totally into predestination, there is the issue of free will. I mean, we make choices that have consequences. Okay, I'm in.
Great. Now, we only have a few hours before the service tonight, so let's all meet up in my office, okay?
Oh, okay.
Great.